What's up, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets. I'm going to break down some big news that just came out as President Trump just announced that he's going to be signing a trade deal with the UK. I'm going to break down how this may affect the markets as we're seeing lots of buyers who are returning, not to mention more news for Tesla stock. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you sign up and deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposits $2,000, you're guaranteed 25 free stocks. And deposit $5,000, you're guaranteed 60. The offer ends on June 3rd. Anyways, let's talk about what's happening with this market. So in the pre-market, Tesla's up 1.17%. We got some good news that came out, not to mention a very, very positive reaction to this news. Same thing with SPY. Even like SPY is up 0.81%, trying to push higher. So is the QQQ. So I'm going to break down what this means, at least on a technical basis, in just a couple of minutes. Let's first talk about some news. So the first piece of news on everyone's minds is this one right here. President Trump has confirmed that he's going to be signing the first post-tariff trade deal with Britain. This is absolutely massive news because this is the first time we're actually seeing this. President Trump put on his Truth Social page that this should be a very big and exciting day for the USA and the UK. There's going to be a press conference at the Oval Office at 10 o'clock a.m. Thank you. And then this is his actual Truth Social post where he actually said this. He's saying that this is going to be very, very huge. So basically, President Trump is saying that many foreign nations are eager to ink in a deal with Washington to avoid the effects of the tariffs. So that's some big news that's come out so far. And President Trump is saying that we're going to be listening to see how this goes. He once again also put on his Truth Social page, I actually have it right over here, that basically there's going to be a big news conference tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and that it's going to be considering a major trade deal with all these representatives. So it's the first of many. So that's huge news, at least so far. The UK government said on Thursday that it was in talks with Washington over a potential deal. It did not confirm the signing yet, but President Trump is saying that it's going to be coming. And this is just, some big news, at least nonetheless. So please keep this in mind. On top of this, there's been talk about how the Bank of England also cut interest rates again ahead of this deal and also ahead of what's been happening with these tariffs. So keep this all in mind. For Tesla news in particular, Tesla's cheaper RWD Model Y is available in the US. This is making a lot of headlines. It costs about $37,490 with federal tax subsidies as long as they exist. So that's been another good piece of news for Tesla, and that's also what's helping with the share price. Now, for news about the overall market, I just wanted to say that we did see a lot of chop after Jerome Powell spoke yesterday. Could we still see a reaction to what happened? It's still possible, but we'll have to see how well the market holds up if we could continue the push that we're starting. The Fed kept rates the same, and Jerome Powell has not confirmed any more cuts or anything like this. The Fed is just waiting to see what's going to happen. So for now, we'll see how the market responds. But as of right now, we should gap up. Besides that, I didn't see anything else that was too crazy on the news. In terms of our economic calendar, we do have some data around 11:30 a.m. We have some bill auctions, and then initial jobless claims was a little bit below expectations, which is not too bad. For earnings, Peloton actually saw a bit of a decrease because their revenue declined 13%. It's not the best of news for them. However, Shopify did relatively well, and we saw a big increase in their overall earnings, very solid earnings. Despite the trade war that could affect things for them, they're doing quite well. Anyways, let's talk about Tesla, what's going on with the share price from this point on. As a reminder, Tesla's trying to gap up, but there is that gap below. If Tesla loses 278, we could return to fill this gap at 276. Then we just want to see if Tesla can make a higher low here. So if we do come down, we could be coming down to fill that gap. Just a couple of points, and we'll see if Tesla bounces again because we could be forming a nice accumulation right here. We also have a double bottom off this 272 zone or very close to it, and this could be a bullish sign. Now, if we're bullish, even if we don't come down to fill the gap, if we want to just keep going, you want to see Tesla hold above 280. If we hold 280, we could just go straight up to 285. So I do find these to be the two most likely possibilities for Tesla. As long as we don't lose 272, we are still going to remain bullish. So We'll see if we come down to fill the gap and then bounce, or if we just bounce from here. Overall, I think Tesla's looking bullish. We're going to try to fill some of these imbalances to get a push to the 280s. So we'll see if we dip first or not. We could dip a couple of points to fill the gap, but I'm not too confident about that because there's lots of optimism with the trade deal. But nonetheless, I do see upside potential for 285, whether we dip or not. And then we could just be trying to push up here. For SPY, we're looking bullish, but we need to see this thing hold above 567. If we break this, we're actually going to be going up to about 575, and I do think we might be achieving that now, but we'll see. Do we come down? If we lose 564, we could come down to fill this gap first, and then we'll see if we rebound and eventually try to break 571 to push for 575. We're going to be watching to see if we get back above 567 to really break out like this, or if we don't end up losing 564, if we could hold above 564, it's also possible that this consolidates and eventually tries to break through this, and President Trump's press conference could launch us straight up like this, and we could be looking for a big pump back up. So we're looking bullish. These are like the bullish cases, whether we come down to fill the gap if we lose 564 and then we could still bounce, or if we just break past 567 to push for 575. In order for me to be bearish, I need to see us essentially lose support here at 555. If we lose that, then yeah, we could turn bearish, but that's not looking very probable. What looks more likely is these two scenarios, whether we come down to fill this gap and bounce, or if we just kind of go from here to eventually push for the 570s. That's what we're looking for on SPY. On the triple Q, it's the same setup essentially. So we have a tough resistance at 490. The full measured move takes us up to about 494. It's possible that if we lose 487, we could actually return to fill this gap to 483. So if 487 fails us, we're looking for 483, and we'll see if we bounce off that, start pushing for 494. Or if we want to keep going, let's just say we don't fill this gap. Let's just say we just kind of, hold up here and consolidate, and we eventually start pushing for 494. That's going to be another big factor right over here to potentially lead to more upside. If we lose 480, then yes, we could be dumping lower, but as long as we're above that, we're actually favoring, then we might try to go higher for essentially 494 to 500. I think we still look bullish. We'll see if we come down to fill the gap or not, so make sure you watch for that in case we lose like 487. But then even if we do, we could still bounce and try to get back up to the 490s. On the IWM, it's the same thing essentially. So, it depends on what we get from President Trump's press conference, especially at 10 a.m. Do we lose 198 and dip back down to like 197, then eventually consolidate and bounce for 202? Or do we not dip that much? Do we just hold up above like 198 and then eventually push for 202 plus? To be bearish, you want to lose 195. So if 195 fails us, then yeah, we're looking for a dip back down. But these look like the most likely possibilities as well. It also depends on what the big guy, President Trump, ends up saying. For ES, we're looking bullish. We are favoring upside. We want to see if we could break 5700. If that breaks, I'm looking for 5750 as our targets. As long as we don't lose 5660, we're doing a good job, and we should be favoring, the upwards direction for 5750. I just don't want to see us lose 5600, so we're still looking bullish. On NQ, we have resistance up here around 20,500. Now, keep in mind that I just want to see us hold 20,000. If we could hold 20,000, we're favoring upside on NQ to get back up to this high over here. If we lose 19,750, though, we could turn back down. So as long as we're above 19,750, we're looking bullish. We need to see if that holds. Bitcoin's looking for 100,000 as our target. I do think we test, and we'll see if we can break past it or not. If it doesn't break that, we could return to like 98,000 before it tries to bounce, but overall looking bullish. Nvidia has been pushing upon the news that, there's trade export restrictions being lifted, which benefits them. In case we dip a little bit, if we don't hold 118.5, we could come down to like 117 to fill this gap and retest this blue trend line before it continues to push like this. But overall, it remains more bullish. Even if we don't come down to fill the gap, we could be looking for 120. Good job by NVIDIA. For Apple, we're looking a little bit more bullish. I just don't want to see us lose this support right here. We're a little bit bullish. We just need to try to hold and make a higher low at 196. As long as we do, we could be trying to push for 200, so watch for that. For Coinbase, we're trying to break out right now. You guys can see how this is making a very, very nice move. There was some big news that came out as they're trying to buy up another company. So if we could break out of this 205 area, we're looking for an attempt for like the 210s. Amazon looks bullish. If we break 192, we're looking for an attempt to push for 194. I don't want to see us lose like 189. So we'll see how it reacts to this 192 resistance, whether we come down or not. But either way, there is potential for that upside move if we break this resistance. As you guys could tell, we're doing a good job so far. Meta's looking decent. Could be looking for an attempt for 630 later on, but it depends if we could hold above 600. So we'll see how well we hold above 600. If it holds, we could try to push for 610, then eventually 620 and above. 630 would be next after that, but I see potential. Microsoft, so long as we don't lose 429, we're favoring almost 440. And Google had dumped quite a bit after the news that came out about them having to pay Apple. But keep in mind that so long as we're above that 150 area, we need to break 156 to continue. I did expect a test of 156. We'll see if it comes down first before it tries to make a recovery move like this to 160. So keep that in mind. Anyways, the VIX is technically on a bit of a downtrend. We are technically trying to rebound a little bit. So just keep that in mind. So that being said, guys, I want to thank you all so much for listening. The market's doing a great job at holding up, at least so far. But we will see if we come back down to fill this gap or not on SPY. I'll be watching that just to be safe. And even if we do come down, right, even if we do end up losing 564, we could still rebound later on. And President Trump's press conference could try to get this to launch higher as long as we don't lose 555. But the market trying to push this could really help Tesla. I just want to see Tesla hold up right here. Can we hold above 280? Whether we do or we don't, it doesn't really matter. What matters is as long as we make a higher low here, as long as we don't come back down to 272, even if we make a higher low, we're looking good. And we have the potential to push back up for 285 plus, whether we come down to fill the gap or not. Obviously, it depends on President Trump's press conference at 10 a.m. But overall, this is bullish and there is upside potential nonetheless. Thank you for listening and peace out.